The great meeting hall of the Galactic Council stretched wide across the space station's center. Hundreds of different alien beings sat in their special seats, each one made for their strange bodies. Some had tentacles instead of arms. Others glowed like living crystals. A few looked like giant birds with metal feathers. Ambassador Veltar waved his thick tentacles in the air. He was getting angry again. The seat marked Sol 3 sat empty, just like it had for the past 3 years. Sol 3 was what the aliens called Earth, the third planet around a small yellow star far away from the galaxy's center. Once again, the humans did not come, Veltar said, his voice making bubbling sounds through his water-filled helmet. This is the 8th meeting they have missed. High Counselor Nexara's crystal body flashed bright orange. When she got upset, her whole body changed colors. Maybe we should send another ship to talk to them. Our last 3 ships came back with strange stories. What kind of stories? Asked General Korthax. He was from a warrior race that looked like giant insects. His 4 arms clicked together when he talked. The humans told our ships they were too busy to talk. They said they had technical problems with their radios. They also said their leaders were in meetings and could not see our ambassadors. The other aliens made various sounds of disbelief. Some hissed, others chirped, and a few made grinding noises with their metal parts. Far away from the space station, on a planet covered mostly with blue water, Captain Lee Deho sat in a dark room deep underground. The room was filled with computer screens showing pictures of space. He could see the alien space station where the council was meeting. He could hear everything they said about humans. Deho was not a tall man, but he had sharp eyes and moved with the confidence of someone used to giving orders. He wore a dark blue uniform with strange symbols on the chest. The symbols showed he was part of Earth's secret space defense force. "Sir, they are talking about us again," said Commander Park Soman. She was younger than Deho, with short black hair and quick hands that never stopped moving across her computer controls. "They think we are too primitive to be dangerous." Deho smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Good. Let them keep thinking that."
"How are the shipyards doing?"
"Better than we hoped, sir. The ones on the far side of the moon finished another 50 ships this week. The Mars base completed 30 more. Even the secret base near Jupiter is ahead of schedule." On the computer screens, they could see the alien council members still arguing about Earth. The aliens had no idea that humans had been watching them for almost 20 years. They did not know that Earth had built secret bases all through the solar system. They especially did not know about the thousands of warships hiding in the dark spaces between planets. 20 years ago, when the first alien ship had visited Earth, the world's leaders had made a smart decision. Instead of announcing contact with aliens to everyone, they had kept it secret. They pretended to be a simple world that had just learned to fly in space with basic rockets. The aliens had believed this lie completely. They saw Earth's old space shuttles and simple satellites and decided humans were too primitive to worry about. They offered to let Earth join their council someday, maybe in 100 years when humans had learned more about space travel. What the aliens did not see were the real human spaceships. These ships used technology that was just as good as anything the aliens had, sometimes better. Human engineers had studied every alien ship that passed through the solar system. They learned how to build faster engines, stronger weapons, and better shields. Dr. Kim Hyun-soo entered the command room carrying a thick folder of papers. He was the head scientist for the secret space program. His hair was starting to turn gray from years of long workdays. "Deho, I have the final numbers," he said. "We now have 8,000 combat ships ready to fly. We have another 4,000 support ships for supplies and repairs. All ships are hidden in the asteroid belt or behind the gas giant planets. How long until we have 12,000 ships?" Deho asked. 6 months, maybe 5 if the automated factories keep working this fast. Commander Park looked up from her computers. "Sir, the Alien Council just voted to send another diplomatic ship to Earth. It will arrive in 3 weeks. "Same plan as before," Deho said. "We show them our old rockets and simple space stations. We act like we are excited to learn about faster-than-light travel. We ask lots of basic questions about how their technology works. The aliens love to feel superior," Dr. Kim said with a laugh. "They enjoy explaining simple things to the primitive humans." While the humans talked, the Alien Council meeting continued in space. The different species argued about trade routes, border disputes, and mining rights on empty planets. They had no idea that human spy satellites watched their every move. They did not know that human computers translated every word they said. We should focus on more important matters, said Ambassador Veltar. The humans are not going anywhere. They will still be on their little planet when we are ready to deal with them properly. High Counselor Nexara's body turned a calm blue color. Agreed. Let them play with their chemical rockets. In a few more decades, we might invite them to be junior members of the council. The other aliens made sounds of agreement. To them, humans were like children playing with toys. They had no idea that those children had been preparing for something much bigger than anyone in the galaxy could imagine. Back on Earth, Captain Daiho stood up and walked to the biggest screen in the room. It showed a map of the galaxy with thousands of tiny lights marking alien worlds and space stations. How much longer do we wait? Commander Park asked. Not much longer, Daiho said quietly. The galaxy is about to learn that Earth has been listening to every word they say. They think we are weak because we choose not to speak. Soon they will understand that sometimes the quietest student learns the most. The screens around them continued to show alien ships moving through space, carrying on with their daily business. None of them knew that thousands of human warships waited in the darkness, ready to change everything the galaxy thought it knew about the small blue planet called Earth. 3 years had passed since the last time aliens tried to talk to Earth. The galaxy had moved on to other problems. 2 alien empires were fighting over empty star systems. Space pirates attacked trade ships near the outer worlds. The Great Galactic Council dealt with these problems while mostly forgetting about the quiet humans. But the humans had not forgotten about the aliens. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Taeguk. The ship floated in the dark space beyond Pluto, hidden from all alien sensors by advanced stealth technology. From here, he could watch every alien ship that came near Earth's solar system. Hyunwoo was older than most of the other officers, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent the last 5 years in deep space watching and waiting. His job was to make sure no alien discovered Earth's real military strength. Admiral, we have another alien trader ship approaching, said Lieutenant Choi Minji from her station. She was young and smart, with quick fingers that danced over her computer controls. It's the same type we saw last month. Show me, Hyunwoo said. The main screen lit up with a picture of space. A strange alien ship moved slowly through the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The ship looked like a giant flower made of metal, with long petals that glowed with soft light. They are scanning for mineral deposits, reported Ensign Oh-ji-won from the science station. Same pattern as all the others. They look at our planets for 5 minutes, mark us as primitive world, and continue on their way. Hyunwoo nodded. This was exactly what Earth's leaders wanted. For 23 years, human ships had stayed hidden while aliens passed through their space. The aliens saw only what humans wanted them to see: old rockets, simple space stations, and basic satellites. What the aliens could not see were the thousands of human warships hiding throughout the solar system. They could not detect the massive shipyards on the far side of the moon, or the secret military bases on Mars. They had no idea that humans had been building the most powerful space fleet in the galaxy. Sir, Lieutenant Choi said, the alien ship is sending a standard report back to the Council. They are telling them that Earth is still using primitive chemical rockets and has made no progress in space technology. Perfect, Hyunwoo said with a slight smile. Let them think we are still trying to figure out how to leave our own planet. Dr. Yang Jisoo entered the bridge carrying a computer tablet. She was the fleet's head engineer, responsible for building and maintaining the secret human warships. Her hair was pulled back in a simple style and her uniform showed the grease stains of someone who spent time working with her hands. Admiral, I have good news, she said. The quantum drive production is ahead of schedule. We can begin mass production of the new drive systems immediately. How many ships can we build with the new drives? Hyunwoo asked. Current projections show 12,000 combat vessels ready within 6 months. The hidden shipyards are working perfectly. The moon base is producing 3 ships per day. Mars is building 2 per day. Even the secret facility in Europa's ice caves is exceeding expectations. Hyunwoo walked to the large window that showed the stars. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations went about their daily business. They traded goods, fought small wars, and made plans for the future. None of them knew that humans were preparing for something that would change everything. What about weapons testing? He asked. All systems are performing better than designed, Dr. Yang replied. Our plasma cannons can punch through any known alien armor. Our missile systems have longer range than anything in the alien fleets. Most importantly, our shield technology can stop their best weapons. Lieutenant Choi looked up from her station. Admiral, we are receiving a priority message from Earth Command. Put it through, Hyunwoo said. The face of General Won Tae-hyun appeared on the screen. He was calling from the secret command center deep under Seoul. Behind him, dozens of officers worked at computer stations monitoring the entire galaxy. Hyunwoo, we have new intelligence from our spy networks, General Won said. The aliens are planning something big. There are reports of unusual activity in the galaxy's center. What kind of activity? Hyunwoo asked. Ancient ships are moving. The Council's historical records mention something called the Devourers. They are creatures from the early days of the galaxy that eat entire star systems. Dr. Yang stepped forward. Are these Devourers real or just alien stories? Very real, General Won replied. Our analysis suggests they return every few thousand years to feed. The last time they appeared, they destroyed over 100 worlds before disappearing back to the galaxy's core. Hyunwoo felt a cold feeling in his stomach. When will they arrive? Unknown. Could be months, could be years. But when they come, they will head for the outer rim of the galaxy first. That means Earth will be directly in their path. The bridge became very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. Earth had spent decades building a secret fleet to protect themselves from aliens who might be hostile. Now they faced something much worse. Ancient creatures that destroyed entire civilizations. General, Hyunwoo said, are we ready for this? We will have to be, General Won replied. The Galactic Council has no idea how to fight the Devourers. Their ancestors barely survived the last attack by hiding until the creatures went away. This time might be different. What are your orders, sir? Continue the mission. Keep watching the aliens, but also start preparing for a much bigger fight. I am sending additional supplies and personnel to all deep space stations. We may need to reveal ourselves sooner than planned. After the transmission ended, Hyunwoo stared out at the stars again. For years, Earth had prepared to defend itself against ordinary alien threats. Now they faced something that had terrorized the galaxy for millions of years. Admiral, Lieutenant Choi said quietly, do you think we are strong enough to fight these Devourers? Hyunwoo thought about the thousands of human ships hidden throughout the solar system. He thought about the brilliant engineers and scientists who had built weapons and shields better than anything the aliens had. Most importantly, he thought about the courage and determination of the human crews who had trained for years in secret. I don't know if we are strong enough, he said finally, but I know we are not going to run and hide like the aliens did before. If these creatures want Earth, they are going to have to fight for it. Dr. Yang smiled grimly. The aliens have been underestimating us for decades. Maybe it is time these Devourers learned the same lesson. Outside the ship, space looked peaceful and empty, but somewhere in that darkness, ancient evil was stirring. Soon the galaxy would discover what happens when Earth finally decides to stop hiding and start fighting. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was unlike anything the galaxy had seen in 1,000 years. Representatives from every major species crowded into the Great Hall, their various forms of communication creating a chaos of sounds, colors, and vibrations. Emergency Coordinator Zephal stood at the center podium, his tall gray body trembling with stress. His usually calm voice cracked as he spoke to the assembled delegates. Fellow beings, we face the greatest threat in recorded history. The Devourers have returned. The hall erupted in panic. Some aliens screeched in fear. Others flashed bright warning colors, and several species made deep rumbling sounds that meant terror in their languages. Silence, Zephal commanded. Panic will not save us. We must act quickly and with purpose. High Counselor Nexara's crystal body pulsed a deep red, the color of extreme danger. What do we know about their numbers and location? Long-range sensors show a massive biofleet emerging from the galactic core. Early estimates suggest over 10,000 ships, each one capable of consuming an entire planet. Zephal's words made the hall grow deadly quiet. Ambassador Veltar raised his tentacles. What is their projected path? They are moving toward the outer rim, following the same route they used 3,000 years ago. They will strike the frontier worlds first, then work their way toward the core systems. General Korthax clicked his forearms together nervously. How much time do we have? Based on their speed, the first worlds will come under attack within 6 months. The outer rim colonies have perhaps 8 months before the main swarm arrives. The delegates began talking all at once, creating a terrible noise of different languages and communication methods. Through the chaos, one voice rose above the rest. What about evacuation? Asked Counselor Trixon. whose people lived on several worlds in the Outer Rim. Can we move our populations to safety? We are already preparing evacuation fleets, Zephal replied. But we cannot save everyone. Some worlds are too far away. Others have populations too large to move quickly. Ambassador Veltar's tentacles drooped with sadness. What about the primitive worlds? The species that cannot defend themselves? We will save who we can, Zephal said quietly. But our first priority must be preserving the major civilizations. What about the human sector? Asked a delegate from the back of the hall. Sol 3 lies directly in the Devourer's projected path. The hall grew quiet again. Most of the aliens barely remembered the humans existed. Earth was just another primitive world on the edge of known space. High Counselor Nexara's body dimmed to a sad blue color. The humans cannot evacuate themselves. They have only basic rocket technology. We should send a memorial beacon to record their existence before they are consumed. Agreed, Zephal said with a heavy voice. We will remember them as a promising species that ran out of time. Far away from the council meeting, on the blue planet called Earth, a very different meeting was taking place. President Yoon Minho stood before the United Earth Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. Representatives from every nation on Earth filled the large hall, their faces serious and determined. Above them, massive screens showed images of space and the alien threat approaching their world. My fellow humans, President Yoon began, his voice carrying clearly through the hall and broadcast to every corner of the globe. For 50 years we have prepared for this moment. Today we reveal ourselves to the galaxy. The delegates in the hall knew what was coming, but the billions of people watching on television around the world were about to learn that their planet had been keeping the biggest secret in human history. For decades, we have allowed the galaxy to believe we are a primitive species. We have hidden our true capabilities while we built the strongest space fleet ever created. Today that deception ends. General Won Tae-hyun stepped up to the podium. His uniform was dark blue with silver symbols showing his rank in Earth's secret space force. Behind him stood other military leaders whose names and faces had never been seen by the public. Operation Starfall is now active, General Won announced. All fleet commanders, you are weapons free. All hidden installations drop stealth protocols immediately. Around the world, people looked up at the sky and gasped in amazement. The moon, which had looked normal that morning, suddenly revealed massive structures on its surface. Huge shipyards and weapons platforms appeared where there had been empty craters just moments before. On Mars, the small research stations that everyone knew about were joined by enormous military bases that stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Even the gas giant planets revealed fleets of warships that had been hiding in their electromagnetic fields. Fleet Admiral Na Ji-hoon took command from the Bridge of the Soul, humanity's first and largest dreadnought. The massive ship had been built in secret over 15 years, using technology that was advanced beyond anything the aliens possessed. All ships, this is Admiral Na, he broadcast to the entire human fleet. Today we show the galaxy what Earth is truly capable of. Today we prove that humanity stands ready to defend not just our world, but all civilized worlds. Around him, the bridge crew worked with calm efficiency. These men and women had trained for years in secret, preparing for the day when Earth would finally reveal itself to the galaxy. Captain Kang Seojun responded from his escort carrier Busan. Admiral, all fighter wings are ready for deployment. We have 15,000 pilots standing by. Commander Lee Yun-ho called in from the heavy cruiser Daegu. Sir, all weapon systems are online. Our plasma cannons are charged and ready. One by one, the commanders of Earth's secret fleet reported their readiness. 8,000 warships of various sizes and purposes formed into battle formations throughout the solar system. Support ships carrying supplies, medical facilities, and repair equipment took their positions behind the combat vessels. Dr. Yang Jisoo, now promoted to chief engineer of the entire fleet, monitored the technical status from her station on the Sol. Admiral, all quantum drives are functioning perfectly. Our ships can outrun and outmaneuver anything the aliens have. What about our weapons? Admiral Na asked. Sir, our plasma cannons have twice the power of standard Galactic Council weapons. Our missiles have better guidance systems and longer range. Most importantly, our defensive shields can absorb energy levels that would destroy alien ships. Admiral Na looked at the tactical display showing the positions of all human ships. Years of planning and preparation had led to this moment. Earth had used the galaxy's own prejudices against them, letting the aliens believe humans were too primitive to be a threat. "Open a channel to all ships," he commanded. "Channel open, sir," replied Lieutenant Commander Park Soman. "This is Admiral Najihoon to all vessels of the Earth Defense Force. In 6 months, an ancient enemy will arrive at our doorstep. The Devourers have destroyed civilizations across the galaxy for millions of years. The Alien Council has already written us off as another primitive species to be consumed." His words were broadcast not only to the human fleet, but to every alien ship and listening post within 100 light-years of Earth. They are wrong. Today the galaxy learns that Earth does not hide from monsters. We do not run from threats. We stand our ground and fight, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who cannot fight for themselves. The transmission reached the Galactic Council emergency meeting, just as the delegates were voting to abandon the Outer Rim worlds. The hall fell silent as Admiral Na's voice continued. "To the Galactic Council, this is Earth's formal introduction. We have been watching. We have been learning. And we have been preparing. When the Devourers arrive, they will find humanity ready to meet them." The first sign that something had changed in the Sol system came when the Galactic Council's long-range sensors detected massive gravitational disturbances throughout the entire region of space around Earth's sun. Commander Toxavan led the Council's emergency response team as their ships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. What they found made his insectoid mandibles click together in disbelief. Space around him was filled with thousands of sleek warships. These were not the primitive rockets and simple space stations the Council expected to find around Earth. These were advanced military vessels that gleamed with unknown alloys and bristled with weapon systems that made Toxavan's experienced warrior heart race with fear. "By the ancient gods," whispered his communications officer, a crystalline being whose body flashed rapid colors of shock and confusion. "How many ships are there?" "Sensors show over 8,000 combat vessels," replied the science officer, her tentacles trembling as she read the displays. "There are also thousands of support ships, carriers, supply vessels, mobile shipyards." The human fleet moved through space with precision that spoke of years of training and coordination. Fighter squadrons flew in perfect formations between the larger ships. Destroyers and cruisers took defensive positions around massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed anything in the Council's own fleets. "This is impossible," Toxavan said, his 4 eyes focused on the tactical display. 3 months ago, our surveys showed Earth had only basic chemical rockets. How did they build all this? Before anyone could answer, a calm voice spoke over their communication system in perfect galactic standard. "This is Fleet Admiral Najihoon of the Earth Defense Force. Commander Toxavan, you are in violation of United Earth territorial space. State your intentions immediately." Toxavan felt his blood turn cold. "How do you know my name? How do you speak our language?" "We have been listening to your council sessions for decades, Commander," Admiral Na replied with what sounded like amusement in his voice. "We know about the Devourer threat. We also know that your council has written off our entire species as acceptable losses." The massive human fleet began to move with purpose and direction that terrified the watching aliens. But instead of heading away from the approaching Devourers, the human ships were moving to intercept them. On the bridge of his flagship Sol, Admiral Na watched the alien scout ships through his main view screen. These were the first aliens to see Earth's true military strength, and their shock was visible even across the communication link. "Sir," reported Captain Kang Seojin from his carrier Busan, "our deep space sensors are picking up the Devourer bioships. They are entering the outer system now. Estimated time of arrival at Earth, 4 hours. Na nodded calmly. This was the moment Earth had been preparing for since the first alien contact 50 years ago. Everything depended on the next few hours. All task forces, this is Admiral Na, he broadcast across all frequencies, ensuring that the Council ships would hear every word. Today we show the galaxy what humanity is capable of. Today we prove that Earth stands with the civilized worlds not because we were invited to, but because it is right. The human fleet spread out across the solar system in a defensive formation that demonstrated tactical thinking far beyond what any alien expected from a primitive species. The largest ships took positions near the asteroid belt, using the rocky debris as cover and additional weapons. Smaller, faster ships moved toward the outer planets to engage the enemy at maximum range. Commander Toxvan watched in growing amazement as the human formation took shape. "They are not running," he said to his crew. "A species that was supposed to be helpless is preparing to fight creatures that have terrorized the galaxy for millennia." "Sir," his science officer said, "I am analyzing their ships with our sensors. Their technology is not just advanced. In some areas, it appears to be superior to our own." "That is impossible," Toxvan replied, but his voice lacked conviction. "Their energy shields are more efficient than ours. Their weapons appear to have longer range and greater power output. Most disturbing of all, their ships are faster and more maneuverable than anything in our fleet." Captain O'Hiegen led the first wave of human fighters from her command ship Incheon. Her squadron of 200 fighters moved like a school of deadly fish through space. Their movements coordinated by quantum communication systems that allowed instant coordination across vast distances. "All wings. This is Dragon Leader," she broadcast to her pilots. "Remember your training. These creatures are big and dangerous, but they are not smart. Hit the neural clusters at the front of each bioship. Cut off their heads and the bodies will follow." Behind the fighters came the main battle fleet. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo commanded the second task force from his battleship Taguk, while Admiral Lee Minsu led the third from the heavy cruiser Gwangju. Each commander had spent years training for this moment, running countless simulations of battles against unknown enemies. The Devourer horde that emerged from the darkness between stars was a sight that had given nightmares to 100 generations of aliens. Massive bioships that looked like living creatures writhed through space, their organic hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Each ship was the size of a small moon, covered with weapons that could crack planets and shields that had resisted every weapon the galaxy had ever developed. There were 47 of the massive creatures, accompanied by thousands of smaller bioships that swarmed around them like parasites around giant sea monsters. "All ships," Admiral Na commanded, his voice steady despite the magnitude of the threat approaching them. "Remember that we are not just fighting for Earth today. We are fighting for every world in the galaxy that cannot defend itself. We are fighting to prove that civilization will not bow to ancient evil." The first human missiles reached the Devourers while the alien creatures were still beyond the orbit of Neptune. The bioship's defensive systems activated, creating shields of living energy that had never been penetrated by any known weapon. The human missiles punched through those shields like they were made of paper. "Impossible," Commander Toxvan exclaimed as he watched the tactical display. "Nothing can penetrate Devourer shields." "The humans are using some kind of quantum disruption technology," his science officer reported, her crystalline body flashing colors of amazement. "They are not just breaking through the shields, they are dissolving the quantum structure that holds them." Together, the first volley of human weapons struck the leading Devourer bioships and carved massive wounds in their organic hulls. Bioplasma that had been contained under pressure for thousands of years sprayed out into space like alien blood. But the Devourers were ancient and cunning. They had survived for millions of years by adapting to every threat. The wounded bioships began to regenerate, their living hulls healing the damage even as more human missiles arrived. "Secondary weapons. Fire at will," Admiral Na commanded. The human fleet opened up with plasma cannons that had been designed using technology learned from studying alien ships for decades. But these weapons had been improved and enhanced far beyond their original capabilities. Beams of coherent energy lanced across space, striking the bioships with power that made the creatures scream in frequencies that could be heard across multiple dimensions. For the first time in millions of years, the Devourers had encountered an enemy that could hurt them. The battle was joined in earnest as the ancient horrors of the galaxy met the newest defenders of civilization in the space around a small blue planet that had been dismissed as primitive and helpless. The Battle of Sol became the most important fight in galactic history. The space between Mars and Jupiter turned into a storm of energy weapons, bioplasma, and exploding ships as humanity's finest warriors faced the ancient horror that had terrorized the galaxy for millions of years. The Devourer horde, 47 massive bioships and thousands of smaller creatures, had expected to find a defenseless primitive world. Instead, they found 8,000 human warships ready for the fight of their lives. Captain O'Hiegen led her fighter squadrons in the first attack wave, her command ship Incheon coordinating 300 small, fast fighters as they swarmed around the massive alien bioships like angry wasps attacking giant spiders. All wings. Focus fire on the neural clusters, she commanded, her voice calm despite the chaos around her. Remember, these things heal fast, so we need to hit them hard and keep hitting them. Her pilots responded with the precision that came from years of secret training. Human fighters dove and rolled between bioplasma blasts that could melt asteroids, their quantum-enhanced engines making them faster and more agile than anything the Devourers had ever faced. Lieutenant Yu Jinwoo flew his fighter Soul Dragon directly at the sensory organs of a massive bioship. Dragon 7 engaging primary target, he reported, his finger steady on the trigger as plasma bolts from the creature's defensive systems lit up space around him. Confirmed, Dragon 7. Captain O replied. Hit it and get out of there. Jinwoo's fighter unleashed a volley of quantum missiles directly into the bioship's main neural center. The ancient creature convulsed in pain and rage, its bioluminescent patterns flashing in frequencies that hurt to look at directly. But the human attack was just beginning. Admiral Kim Hyun-woo coordinated the main battle from his flagship Taeguk, using the solar system's own geography as a weapon. Jupiter's massive gravity well became a slingshot to accelerate human ships to impossible speeds. The asteroid belt provided cover and additional projectiles as human ships used magnetic fields to hurl massive rocks at their enemies. Redirect the Europa task force to Vector 77 Mark IV, he commanded, watching the tactical display show human ships moving like pieces on a three-dimensional chessboard. We are going to use Jupiter's gravity to slingshot them into the enemy's flank. The maneuver was brilliant and deadly. 30 human destroyers disappeared behind Jupiter's bulk, then emerged at tremendous speed directly into the side of the Devourer formation. The bioships used to enemies that approached from predictable directions found themselves under attack from angles they had not defended. Commander Lee Yunho led the heavy cruiser Daegu in a direct assault on the largest Devourer bioship, a creature so massive that it had its own gravity field. All batteries concentrate fire on the primary target, he ordered. The Daegu's main plasma cannons fired in sequence, each shot carrying more destructive power than the aliens had thought possible from such a relatively small ship. The bioship's living hull began to crack and burn under the sustained assault. Sir, the creature is adapting, reported his science officer. Its hull is developing resistance to our plasma frequency. Then we change frequency, Lee replied calmly. Switch to quantum disruption beams. Let's see it adapt to having its molecular structure dissolved. The human fleet moved like a symphony of destruction, each ship playing its part in a coordinated attack that had been planned and practiced for decades. What impressed the watching alien observers was not just the advanced technology, but the courage and skill of the human crews who piloted their ships into impossible positions and fought with a determination that seemed to come from their very souls. Dr. Yang Jisoo monitored the battle. From the fleet engineering station aboard the Seoul, her screens showing the technical status of thousands of human ships engaged in the greatest battle of their lives. Admiral Na, she reported, all ships are performing within acceptable parameters. Hull damage is minimal thanks to our improved shield technology. Weapon systems are functioning at 115% of design capacity. Any problems? Admiral Na asked, his eyes focused on the main tactical display. The fighters are using ammunition faster than projected, but our supply ships can keep up with demand. More importantly, our shields are holding against bioplasma attacks that should have destroyed us. The tide of battle began to turn as human weapons found weak points in creatures that had seemed invulnerable for millions of years. The quantum disruption technology that human scientists had developed proved to be the perfect counter to bioships that relied on organic regeneration for defense. Captain Park, Selman commanded the missile cruiser Busan as it unleashed volleys of smart weapons that could adjust their attack patterns in real time. Target the neural connections between the main body and the weapon clusters, she ordered her weapons officer. The missiles struck with surgical precision, severing the bioship's ability to coordinate their attacks. Ancient creatures that had moved with fluid grace began to drift helplessly as their nervous systems were disrupted by weapons they had never encountered before. But the Devourers were not helpless victims. They had survived for millions of years by being adaptable and ruthless. The smaller bioships began to swarm human vessels, trying to overwhelm them with numbers while the larger creatures focused their remaining firepower on the human command ships. Seoul is taking heavy fire, reported Commander Han Kyujin from the damage control station. Port shields are down to 60%. Evasive maneuvers, Admiral Na ordered calmly. Bring us about and give them our starboard batteries. The massive dreadnought spun on its axis with grace that seemed impossible for such a large ship, bringing fresh weapons to bear on the attacking bioships while moving its damaged sections away from enemy fire. The battle raged for 6 hours as human ships and ancient bio-creatures fought across the entire solar system. The fighting was so intense that the energy releases could be seen from Earth with the naked eye. Like a second sun had appeared in the sky, Commander. Toxavan and his alien observers watched in amazement as the species they had dismissed as primitive systematically destroyed threats that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. How is this possible? His science officer whispered, her crystalline form pulsing with colors of disbelief. The humans are not just fighting the devourers, they are winning. Look at their formation discipline, Toxavan replied, his warrior's heart filled with respect for the human fleet. Look at how they coordinate their attacks. These are not primitives who stumbled onto advanced technology. These are professional soldiers who have trained for this exact battle. When the fighting finally ended, the space around Earth was filled with the broken remains of the devourer horde. Not a single bioship had survived to escape back to the galactic core. The ancient threat that had haunted civilized space for millions of years had been stopped completely by a species that the galaxy had never taken seriously. As the debris of destroyed bioships drifted through space, Admiral Na opened a communication channel to the stunned alien observers. Commander Toxavan, please inform the Galactic Council that Earth formally requests membership in your organization. I believe we have demonstrated our qualifications. The response came not just from Commander Toxavan, but from President Yoon Minho, broadcasting from Earth to every corner of the galaxy. People of the galaxy. His voice carried across space to alien worlds that had never heard a human speak before. Earth has been watching your civilization for 50 years. We have been learning from your knowledge and your mistakes. We have been preparing for the day when we could stand beside you as equals. His words reached planets where alien families had been preparing to flee from the approaching devourers. Worlds where entire civilizations had been ready to abandon their homes to escape destruction. We have been ready to join the galactic community for decades, but we wanted to prove ourselves worthy of membership. Today, Earth stands with all civilized worlds against the darkness that threatens us all. The transmission ended with a simple but profound statement that would be remembered as long as intelligent life existed in the galaxy. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders, but it is also full of dangers. From this day forward, Earth pledges to stand guard over all those who cannot protect themselves. The age of hiding is over. The age of humanity has begun. 1 year later, Ambassador Lee Yoonji took her seat in the Galactic Council chambers. Around her sat representatives from hundreds of worlds. Species that had once dismissed humanity as primitive now sought Earth's friendship and protection. The galaxy had learned an important lesson about the dangers of underestimating the quiet species in the corner. Sometimes the ones who say the least have been preparing the most. And sometimes, the best way to make an entrance is to let your actions speak louder than any words ever could.